let me tell you a little something about me. I had a conversation with the devil when I was 10, begging him to stop being bad, and it was very intense. So that's just my mental state. What if there was no purpose in life, Jess? What do you think?
Well, my first gut reaction to that is like, there isn't, because there is.
Wait a damn minute.
Hey, what's up? I'm Fenmore.
Hey, I am Jess, and welcome to the Exceptions Podcast.
On YouTube. Woo!
Yeah!
So
you can see us now too.
the whole thing. So this is our 5th episode, but our first episode on YouTube.
I think
And
it's our 6th, actually.
is this our 6th episode?
I might be, yeah.
I'm so whacked
least.
out of it. But I know this is our first episode on YouTube.
Mhm.
So what's up, YouTube? We're going to be sharing our journey on this channel about achieving our dreams, right? And so, Jess, what are our dreams? What's your dream?
My dream is to be an author, a writer, to have a book published, at least one. Let's start with that. A best-selling book, a book I can go into a bookstore and buy. And Fenmore, what's yours?
Mine is to become a successful recording artist with my very own World Arena tour. These are huge dreams. These are amazing. Okay.
They
and we're
are
going to
huge.
achieve them with all of y'all's with us along the way.
Yes, we like to talk about our journey to our goals from where we are right now. We aren't yet where we want to be. We don't have the success that we one day hope to see. So we want to start with you from kind of the bottom or wherever we're at right now.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Yeah.
There we go. We're going to talk about, the challenges we face, that's what we learn about our own creativity, productivity, consistency, and we talk about a lot of fun topics while we do it.
Yeah, it's all about becoming the best version of ourselves, and maybe we can help you learn a little bit about yourself as well as we learn about ourselves and how to become better people. So make sure you do all the things that you do on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, and we're excited to go on this journey with you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Enjoy the episode.
Well, let's start with something exceptional that we experienced or saw this week. And so
Yes.
coincidentally, we both saw the same thing this week that we thought was exceptional. What was that, Jess?
The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
This documentary on Netflix that we both watched. What was your main takeaway, or how did it make you feel?
All right. So for those of you that have not seen The Social Dilemma, it's a documentary on Netflix, as Jess was saying, that talks about the real and troubling problem of social media and how it's not only ripping the mental health of our kids, but also the social fabric of our society. So it's pretty bleak. It was pretty informative.
Yeah, check it out. I think the part that stood out to me was how politically polarizing social media can be because of how targeted it kind of is towards us.
It's insane. If you've ever seen this TED Talk, I completely forgot who it was, but she was talking about the adpocalypse and how back in the day, we'll maybe get into this a bit more, but back in the day, we'd kind of see the same things as a general public, like television and the newsstand. There was no algorithm differentiating what we saw.
Right.
That's, we all had the same experience around the water coolers, they would say. But now the algorithm tailors your experience to what keeps you on the platform for as long as possible, just so that they have the possibility of selling something to you. And so what you have is like just streams of different, pretty much societies and subcultures, which is great in some sense, but also terrifying because now we're having different information being fed to us. And it's absolutely new territory for society and for humanity.
Yeah. It was interesting too to kind of think about, like, earlier this year, if I've learned anything, it's that the mainstream media itself can be biased, or I think it is anyway.
For sure.
So I felt like, not trusting that so much and being a little more critical about that. But now then watching this, being like, well, a lot of the other stuff can be based in, conspiracy theories or other stuff too. So you're kind of like, what is this quote unquote truth, and where do you find it? And really, it probably doesn't exist, but you know, where do you encourage people to go for that? It's not
Absolutes anymore.
yes,
It's not objective
exactly.
anymore. Part of the problem with social media, I think, is that there's no evil, nefarious, mustache twirling villain on the other side of the screen, that we can all like hate, like that's the bad guy. It's rather the idea that human beings have bad ideas that spread like a virus, and social media is a super carrier.
Yeah, did it make you make any changes to your life? I heard a lot of people that I knew watched it were like, "Oh, I removed a lot of notifications from my phone," which is something that I had also done not long ago. And it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, because it's like you'll get a notification about something that you really don't care about. It's like this person posted on their Snapchat story, and like, I don't care. Why do I even follow this person? But then now I'm on Snapchat or now I'm on Instagram. So,
Yeah. No, I actually removed my notifications as well because I actually don't like
mhm.
getting them. That just was a
Oh,
reminder for
so
me
much
to
better.
get rid of my notifications. It is really good. I don't think there is a way to put chaos back into Pandora's box, though. This is a thing that we are dealing with now, and it's only going to become more integrative into our society. So we're going to have to deal with this. And honestly, I wouldn't want to get rid of social media because it has afforded independent artists and
Hmm.
creatives such a great opportunity that mainstream media just does not. So
Hmm.
I think finding healthy ways to work with it, such as
Yeah.
getting rid of notifications, or even like having a purpose for like why you're posting. It's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Because good can come from it for sure. Like young kids are seeing mindsets outside of their community that they live in physically that they wouldn't otherwise have, and maybe getting a bit more empathy for different groups of people, which is a good thing. But yeah, I think I would get, if I had a kid, I think I would have that inform some aspects of how I got them to interact with social media. I'd probably want them to
Yeah,
watch that. Like, I just, like
yeah,
the fact that a lot of the people that work in that industry, their kids don't have social media
yeah.
is,
Until they're 15, I've heard. I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Honestly,
mm-hmm.
I mean, 2020 is bad, but
Mm,
the 20s, I think, in general, are just gonna be a culture shifting decade. So
yeah.
we should all prepare for that. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
though, let's not fall into the matrix. And I'm not talking about like being
Period.
plugged into the actual like
Yeah.
machinery, but there's still a real world. And then sometimes I
Yes.
feel as though certain people get dragged into that digital space so much that they
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that there's still a real natural world out there. Um,
Yes.
we don't want to
Yes.
lose that.
So we talked about something exceptional. Now we want to kind of talk about where we're at with our goals. So, Fenmar, have you had any like needle moving moments, challenges, wins since we last talked in regards to your goal?
Yeah. So talking about social media, last time we talked about scheduling breaks for me because I have a problem of extremes. I don't do moderation very well in any means. So I was going to schedule breaks for when I'm exhausted, not for when I'm exhausted, for like before I'm exhausted. So I'm happy and frustrated to say that I did well for a couple of days and then I just fell off the wagon, especially last night. I think, and the reason why I think was because the last 2 days were stressful with my equipment because I didn't know what was going on with my recording equipment for music. When you get like a little inconvenience and then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, all right, just gotta pack it up now, I
I
guess.
can't do any of it now. Okay, it's done. It's over.
I was like, oh no, my software crashed once. Gosh, guess I gotta pack it in. I'll try tomorrow. It's
Yes.
that's almost the equivalent of I remember when I was in school, I would like set a time for when I'd start practicing or when I'd start doing my homework. And if I was late by a minute, I'd be like, I'll just push it an hour. I don't know if anyone else did
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But I used to do that a lot. And that's kind of the same thing. But at a certain point, you just got to set your mind to getting it done no matter what and figuring out the difficulties of it.
Break it down so that you realize, okay, well, this bigger thing I want to do can't be done until this little annoying thing is done. So maybe right now I'll just change my goal to figuring out this little annoying thing and just focus on that.
Or yeah, or just doing something else that you can do for the time being so that you can
Mhm.
just keep moving forward. Don't stop the momentum. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at? Where were you when we talked to you
I think
last?
last time you gave me a task of, I think it was in the last episode, you gave me a task of
Writing?
writing for a minimum of 7 hours because you were like, how much do you
All
want? And I
right.
was like, even freaking 7 hours because at that point I wasn't writing at all. So on your note of the first couple days was good, did an hour in the morning, feeling good, feeling excited about it. And then, the next, 4 days, didn't write at all. Gotta be real. Gotta be honest with you. I just didn't. So I, then the last day before we recorded, I was binge writing, So it happened, I got it
Right.
done, but it's funny how just to notice, like, I guess it's a good thing to think about the fact that an external deadline does motivate me. So maybe I need to work that more into my plan, which is kind of what this podcast is about, right? If I announce to
Mm-hmm.
you and whoever's listening that I'm going to do something, I'm more likely to do it because I don't want to come back on here and be like, so
I didn't.
I didn't do it. That doesn't feel good. So I printed out the pages that I'd written so far. I think I have like 50 pages just
Wow.
because the way that I work is like just like bleh, get it all out. Just
Wait,
I
wait.
random, yeah.
Was it 2,000 words?
Oh, I definitely wrote at least 2,000 words. I wrote like a
50
bunch of
pages.
pages. Yeah, you
Like
did
now
say
I did
2,000
it.
words. No. This is like a document going since the beginning of the year or whatever. So, but it's just mostly I'm like, hey, let me just try and get out these like kind of ideas and write little blurbs on them. But they're so like out of order that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So I printed them out and I kind of like printed or like made them into their topics and then was kind of like arranging them
Right.
on my floor so I could get a better flow. So that was cool. That was like a very tangible way where I was like, look at this stack. Like, this is proof that you can do something. This is nowhere close to being done or anything, but here's like this tangible thing and kind of moving it around and playing with it and reading my own words back, which I don't think I've done since I started writing this out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Felt good. It still could also be like a distraction from actually writing more, but I think by kind of revisiting it and being like, oh no, I don't like that idea, or I do like this idea now, was actually recharging. So now I'm like more excited to go and to be working on it
Well, that's
and to
good.
not have it just be me looking at a screen all the time. So that was cool. So yeah, it was actually pretty good feeling week, creatively speaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exciting.
I have food in my mouth because I have food in my mouth.
This episode that we're trying to film so that we can put on YouTube, and now you're eating. Just kidding.
I just realized that. Hey,
This is
it's
real life, people.
I can put a hashtag mukbang.
Rice fuel. Yeah.
So as Jess hinted, we are talking about purpose in this podcast because that's such a huge part of being a creative. Well, a huge part of figuring out life in general. And can I just start?
Yeah,
May I
please.
just start? Let me walk you through what my process or me growing up thinking what purpose was. So
Mhm.
when I was growing up, I thought everyone else would develop a sense of purpose for their lives by the age of 12, because that's when I developed my sense of purpose for music. And of course, everyone
Yeah.
else needed to be on my timetable, right?
Mhm.
Um, and this feeling was so visceral in me that I thought everyone developed this. It was like you learned how to walk, so then you learned to get a sense of
Yeah.
purpose. Then, to my utter amazement and confusion, when I was 18 and I went to college, I met my friend and I asked him, like, so what do you want to do with your life? And he said, I don't know. And when I tell you, I had like a mental breakdown.
You're like, no. Think back. Remember when you were 12 and you had that moment and you realized what
This
it
is what
was?
I'm
Tell
supposed
me
to
about that.
do. No, yeah, my whole construction of the world just fell apart. It was honestly a micro trauma.
Yeah, but like 12 is young. Like, I don't think I even thought about that when I was 12. So that's like, I would assume that I thought you would have discovered that sooner. Like,
No, let me tell you
and I
something
don't
about.
mean to say that it's wrong, but just because I'm like, there's a lot of people I think just walking around with just living day to day and not even thinking about it.
Yeah, but let me tell you something about me. I had a conversation with the devil when I was 10, begging him to stop being bad, and it was very intense. So that's just my mental state. I
Oh,
am
it's like the opposite
intense.
of prayer. You're like, dear
I
God,
was in
please take care of me and the
tears.
people. And hey, you, can you just stop it? Like,
No, I didn't look down on him. I looked him in the eye and I was like, I know it feels good to be bad, but we can repent. We can all be good again. I was serious, dude. I was on
that's
another
okay.
level.
I cried one time because I thought my dad wasn't going to go to heaven because he didn't go to church.
Yo, that's sad thoughts for real
I
though.
know. I know.
But anyway, so back to my friend and him not having purpose in his life and me going, what is this? I I asked more people and I realized the majority of people this is in Canada, so it might be different around the world, but I don't think so. Maybe it's in developed worlds, but the more people I asked, the more I realized that most people just really didn't know what they wanted to do in terms of like a greater purpose. Lots of people just wanted to get a decent job, like a 9 to 5, and a good position in society. So lots of posturing, lots of positioning, not a lot of purpose, right?
Mm.
So I'm
Mhm.
out here being told by these spiritual gurus and holy people that everyone has a purpose. But then I'm also out here in the real world doing the field work, and my results are
Mhm.
not concurring with their
Mm.
statements. It's just not adding up, ma'am. So what's going on here? But then I made a significant change in my mind a few years later, um, when I made a distinction between purpose with a capital P and purpose with a small p.
Mm.
And what made this,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, what made this distinction for me was when I heard somewhere, and I really do forget where I heard this, but someone said, or maybe I said in my head, that everyone's purpose is the same, and that is to love.
Mm.
That is simple. Like the big capital P, that's everyone's purpose is to love. And that rang really true for me. And I think it rings true for most spiritual or religious people because all our teachings kind of distill to one thing, which is to love your neighbor and love yourself and love
Mm.
God. And even if you're an atheist, it still rings true because what else are you living for if not for
Mhm.
love? And even if we were to like break it down even to its most fundamental evolutionary sentiment, you gotta
Mhm.
love to make humans in this world, baby, right? So that's the big purpose for me. That's to love. And then the small p purpose would be, how are you going to contribute to society in a way that is expressing that love? And that
Mm.
kind of purpose comes in all different types of forms. And for some people, it's their jobs, but for others, it's not. It just simply isn't. And I think this constant telling people that what they need to do is to get the job of their dreams is not really helpful because some
Mm.
people just don't want to labor.
You could have a job that just doesn't really cause you stress and you
Yeah.
just go to and it makes the money and then you experience your purpose in your hobbies and your after work time and you have
Yeah.
that job to just kind of keep you going. That's fine too.
Or your purpose is just your family, you know?
Yeah, you just made me think a lot of points. Like one of them being if like the difference between like a collective purpose of human beings, like you had kind of said, like maybe all of us as humans, our inherent purpose is love. And then
Yeah.
from that, we all have individual purpose too, like yours with music and mine with kind of what I said, um, that branch off of that because we're all so different. Like, and I think that's kind of what you're describing of like the little p is how you express the bigger P, the love through something else.
Yeah.
But I kind of what came to mind for me too, when which is where I thought you were going, was like the big P is like the real like deep purpose of being a human and being yourself, and the little purpose is like what have these structures of the world that we live in convinced you that your purpose should be, right? And that's kind of maybe what
Mm-mm.
a lot of people might find themselves like in default of, like, my purpose is this like laid out path of, relationship, children, job, whatever it is, right? That's that
Right.
they haven't really taken time to like sit with themselves and reflect on like what's actually the purpose of life and what's my purpose. And like I agree about the love thing, like to love each other, to love people in different ways, to love yourself, to love the world. But I also think if your purpose is like, I just want to start a little coffee shop, and it's something that like I think people get down on themselves to be like, well, I want to be like well, I don't want to say any particular thing because nothing is bad. But if someone's like, I've heard people be like, well, I want to be like a nail person or a hair person or something, and they think that that's not purposeful. But if that's something that's going to make you happy and you go out into the world and you're so excited to do it, you're going to be a better person. Thus, you're going to be contributing to the world because now you're coming in with good energy. And then when you go home, you're going to be the best mom, child, father, daughter, whatever it is. That's going to contribute more of that love to the world. And you can find so much purpose within any job, I think.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
No, it does. It's what you do with your circumstances. And I think going back to the idea of to love, there is a sort of wishy-washy component to it that people just kind of dismiss. It's like, oh, to love, sure. But when I say the opposite, to hate, we almost get like a visceral reaction to that. Like we know what it means to hate. Like to hate something, we know what it means. Like we know what it looks like. It looks like vitriol. It looks like murder. It looks like demeaning other people. And I think as a society, somehow we've gotten so far away from the idea of what it means to love in an actionable manner, because it's become sort of a Karen catchphrase, live, love, laugh, that people really don't understand what to love means. Like love is an actionable thing. It is something that you need to act on, just as hate is something that is usually acted upon. And this is something that I got from Marianne Williamson from her presidential candidate run. She was running for the American presidential run.
Exciting. Yeah.
I know. And people made fun of her. They called her the kooky lady.
Oh, I bet. I was like, oh, she's coming in strong with the love. Like people are going to hate this. And I was like, yeah.
She had some of the most pertinent points in any other debates, and they just kicked her out because the establishment didn't like her. But she was very right in her saying we need to, in a sense, weaponize love the way other people weaponize hate. Because people who do nothing just are irrelevant. And so when I say the purpose of all human beings is to love, I'm not talking about just feeling love for people. It's like you're going to go act there out of love in whatever way that you can. Yeah. And that is your purpose, in my opinion. Anyways, like what else are you here to do? Watch paint dry?
Yeah, it's not just find a romantic partner kind of love. It's let it fuel your actions, your anger, how you interact with people, how you do everything out in the world. Like, yeah, it sounds like you said wishy-washy or whatever, but
it's not.
It's really powerful.
For me, I think a purposeful life, in the sense that you are driving it, that you are present, is simply a mindful life.
Like intentional living.
Yeah, it's a mindful life. Some people don't want to achieve enormous amounts of wealth. Some people just want to live a peaceful, content, small, yet loving life. And that is awesome. Like their purpose could be as simple and amazing as enjoying and helping others enjoy the life they have. That's a great purpose. Just enjoy the life you have.
Do you think there's some aspect of purpose that needs to involve making the world a better place or improving the lives of other people? Or can it be purely, for lack of a better word, selfish?
So the idea of making a world a better place is an interesting one to me, and something that has evolved in my mind over the years, because I used to think that's actively going out there and doing huge changes and donating to all these charities. And those are all amazing, and please do them if you feel the need to. But good parents who treat their kids well and raise them well, they're making the world a better place. People who take care of their neighborhood, people who take care of their household so that their family feels emotionally well and full, that's making the world a better place. And at the end of the day, when we're trying to make a world a better place, that means we want other people to enjoy their lives to the fullest and be happy with their lives. And so if someone's living their life and enjoying it, that is already a better place.
Yeah. I kind of knew the answer already. I don't think you can really detach. If you're truly living a purposeful life, I don't think that you're not going to have some positive effect on the world. Because even if you just stay at home by yourself and you come home and you water your plants and you write your book and and even if no one buys it, you still go out and buy groceries. And if you're living your purpose, that's probably going to affect your mood day to day and, how you kind of move through the world. And you're probably going to make someone smile at the grocery store. You're going to connect with someone even just through a wave or a look or a smile, like I said. Like it's just, like you said, whether it's big or small, it's just this like energy that you're putting out into the world when you're really living to your purpose.
Yeah, it's all about the vibes, man. It's all about the vibes. I
It's
do believe in vibes. If there's good vibes, like, then the world's vibing better. This is very
yeah.
deep philosophical stuff, because I know when I go into a room and you just feel the vibe is off,
Mm.
I'm like, oh, we need to make the world a better place in this hizzy. Like, it's not, something is not right. What if there was no purpose in life, Jess? What do you think?
Well, my first gut reaction to that is like, there isn't, because there is.
Wait a damn minute.
Like, there is no, like, we weren't
Ooh,
plopped here.
circles.
Well, I feel like it's not like we're plopped down on this earth and it's like, here's your purpose, live it out. Like, here's your quest in this video
We
game,
were
go do
made
it. It's
to
like
reproduce.
yeah. It's like your purpose is, if you choose to accept it, to discover what your purpose is and then live it out. So I I don't think I would act any differently if I found out there was no purpose to life, because I create my own purpose regardless.
Oh, yeah. I think we're very similar in that sense. For me, I think if there was no purpose, so what? Because I always go back to my main tenets in life, which I've told you already, but I think I might say a couple of times on this podcast. Excuse me if I do that. But I think that not everything in life happens for a reason, right? Because if you believe that everything happens for a reason, then you must do away with free will, because with free will comes consequences, and with consequences comes chaos. And chaos is necessarily defined as not having reason or meaning behind it.
Mm.
All right. So I don't think that everything happens for a reason, but I think the power of the human spirit and our mind is that even though there is no reason for everything, in
Mhm.
everything we can find a reason, right?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, and maybe not right away, but down the line, we have the power
Mhm.
to do that. To turn, as I say, my song, shameless plug for my song, The Alchemist, higher, go stream it. I write in one of my lyrics, we want to turn that gray into gold. We're all sort of alchemists in this world. And if there's no purpose in this universe, I think our power as human beings is to give purpose. And maybe that's what we're here for, is to give the universe some sort of meaning.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you could say, I used to feel like everything kind of did happen for a reason, and it helped in some ways. Instead of, something bad would happen, me getting all down about it and being upset and why me, I was kind of like, okay, well, what is this here to teach me? And that mindset is helpful. Like, instead of seeing things as bad occurrences, it's like, what challenge is here, or what learning process is within this. But
Yeah.
also, I would never say to anyone like, you were abused for a reason, like that doesn't feel right. And yeah, you were born in this place and experienced this shit because, yeah, there's a plan for you, or there's a reason. And maybe that's true, I don't know, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels better to kind of, it's like that Will Smith thing you said, like, it's not, there may not be a reason for it, but now what reason are you going to create for it, and how are you going to react to it in a way that's going to shape your life? If you look at it as if this is happening to you, and it's this hard thing, then it's probably going to be pretty disempowering. um, and easier said than done for people in higher places of privilege than someone who isn't. But even when really bad things happen, like, you see so many people who turn it into gold and turn it into something
Yeah.
amazing, and use it to advocate, or use it to teach others or save others from what they've gone through. And that's now their reason, and that's their purpose, whether it was there to begin with or not.
Yeah. And just that Will Smith thing you were saying, what Will Smith was saying was that things happen in your life that are not your fault, but at the end of the day, your life is your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not your fault, but it's still your responsibility, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That does suck, but that's how
Mm-hmm.
life is. And I think, just wrapping up on this purpose idea, for those who are struggling with finding purpose in this life, I think my advice would be, don't shy away from doing hard things
Mm-hmm.
and
And you
seeing
can do
things
hard
through.
things.
You can't
Yeah.
do hard things. And a lot of times people who go through the roughest things find like a really intense sense of purpose. Like this is what my
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to do in this life now because of what I've gone through. But also, it doesn't have to be extremely traumatic. It can literally just be a skill you're learning.
Mhm.
I developed a passion for music because my parents wouldn't let me quit music, wouldn't let me quit piano. When I was 12 and I was just getting into it, I wanted to quit like a few months in. I was ready to quit, but props to my parents for not letting me quit. And sometimes I get a little sad or frustrated when I see kids out here and their parents are not pushing them to do hard things. Like it teaches you character, but it also can help you develop a sense of what you can do in this world. And somewhere there, you might find a sense of purpose.
Beautiful. That's great.
Wrapping it up, let's talk about the sponsor for the week, though, because I haven't talked about my
Ooh.
sponsor for the week. Sponsor of the week is canned chickpeas. Oh my
That's like a
word.
whole can of chickpeas there.
It's a whole can of chickpeas. Listen,
Wow.
whoever invented canned food, thank you. You are every bachelor's lifesaver because
Is that just
yeah,
a plate of frijoles y arroz?
no, it's a
Is there
plate
veggies on there
of
too?
just rice and
Rice and
chickpeas.
beans. Oh, nice. It is.
Chickpeas, not beans.
They're beans. They're a type of beans.
Are
Are
they?
they not? Yeah.
Oh, maybe they are. I didn't know that. Whatever.
Yeah. Ask a vegetarian, she'll tell you. That's me.
I'm a vegetarian too.
Of course you are.
I'm not vegetarian. I'm vegan.
Are you?
Beat you. I'm
Ooh,
not.
maybe.
I'm not. But I did have ice cream the other day and had the worst case of lactose intolerance.
Ooh,
I was on the bathroom for like 2 hours.
I know it.
I'll get into it in another podcast for sure. Talking about the bathroom though, what are your
Yeah.
goals for next week? What are we working on?
My goals are to finish up marking up my pages and kind of rearranging things and then going back onto my document and editing it up. And then I'm excited for where that will leave me because I'm just going through and noticing so many places where I can expand on topics. So to kind of bring it all back onto my Google Doc and then keep writing from there. So
So editing? Are you going to write some more? You
yeah,
said expanding. Yeah, yeah. Never mind.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's fine. That's my goal.
What's your goal, Fenmore? Thanks, Jess. So my goal for this week is to finish one song that I'm working on, ready to go to the stores. I mean, not ready. It is going to the stores by the end of when I see you next, which is next week, Wednesday.
Perfect. Okay, I think that's all we got. Good. Anything else you'd like to add?
We gotta find ways to push this podcast. I don't even know how to promote podcasts. I can barely promote my music.
Figure it out. I'll look into it.
Oh, but you can help us by rating us on iTunes. Apparently,
Yeah, I
like
think.
you'd rate your favorite cheesecake.
Yes, please rate us. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think.
Tell us if we're crap. Tell us if we want us to
Oh,
stop.
please give us the feedback.
All the feedback.
All the
We love
feedback.
it.
Let us know what topics you'd like to hear from us in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll have a little following. We can do a Q&A. That'd be fun.
Right. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening. Fenmore gets the last word.
Good luck. And remember to have fun out there.